back, guys, as Project. We're going to be talking today about probably one of my favourite cars. Bit of a controversial car. It was VW's first SUV, and this is the facelift generation. I've actually owned quite a few of these, and the person I was speaking to, he's owned quite a few of these. It is my good friend Keith. Hello, Keith.
Alright, yeah.
Long time no see. Well, I say long time no see. We probably see each other, what, 3 and 4 times a week?
Oh,
yeah. So obviously the VW Touareg, is it? Touareg. Again, I've got to angle the camera up because he's like a lot taller than me. But yeah. So do you want to talk us through it?
Aye. Touareg V6 TDI 3 litre.
Yeah.
Altitude. I've done work moorings, I've done the discs and pads. Basically check over engine details. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rear box delete.
Yeah.
Which is a very nice job. I may say so myself. Just gives it that extra tone to it, which I'll demonstrate for you now.
Yeah. It does give it a really nice tone, doesn't it?
It does that.
I have to say, I love the colour. What colour code is it? You know what colour code it is?
To be honest, I don't.
Yeah, it's got a lovely sort of bronze effect. I know my wife's Audi is very similar, but hers is a bit darker, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a nice drive. Even for the miles, you wouldn't think it's just drive.
Yeah.
You would think it's only got less than 100, nearly 200.
Yeah. 200,000. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about this. I actually owned this car for not very long, and then Keith really wanted to buy it, so we did a deal, and yeah, Touareg was on the table, and like I said, it's in really good condition, isn't it?
Yeah. Even underneath, it is really straight, and there's no corrosion whatsoever.
Yeah, brilliant. So, shall we take it out for a quick test drive? Because Keith reckons that this was, what, 225 standard?
Yeah.
And what do we think it's pushing now? Probably, what, 250, 260?
Round about that, but it goes way too quick for 225.
Yeah. I had a Q7 and that was stage 2, and that was 275, I think it was, and that was really quick. That actually surprised me to the point where it scared us a little bit on the back roads, because the Q7 obviously is very similar to this, isn't it, in design?
Yeah.
And the Q7 again a little bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I never really understood was, I felt like on this, the tyres, yes, they made them wider, but they just look a little bit too small for my liking. I just felt like, I know they did one with a 20-inch wheel and tyre.
Yeah, 50 I think they were.
Yeah. And what are these? These are 275 45 19.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what a day we've picked. It's coming up lovely on the camera, this. It really is coming up lovely on the camera. Right, we'll get hooked up and we'll take it out for a quick test drive. Sorry guys, we're having some equipment malfunction there, and where I bought it from is it's a little bit of a standing choke. Right, so come on, let's take it for a test drive.
Yep.
Very comfortable in here, isn't it?
It is that.
You've got a lot of comfort for your money.
One thing I can definitely say, the heated seats on these, I think
yes.
OTT.
Yeah, like I think my L322 seats are just perfect, but these seats are like bordering on bordering on German torture, I think. Not that I'm saying the Germans are used to things like that.
Right.
We'll not go there.
No.
By the way, Keith's driving, I'm not driving, so with me touching the camera. Yeah. Keith's showing his hands.
Yes, so we picked a nice day for this.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? Lovely day today.
Makes a change this English weather.
Don't believe it.
But again,
Jesus Christ. Equipment malfunction today, like. Jesus. It is very, very torquey, this. Holy shit.
that's up to 25.
That was 60 miles an hour, people. That was 60.
Yep, 60, yeah.
60.
60
zone. Yeah, that goes well. I like the interior in these because I think the interior are always quite well laid out. And Keith is one of very few people who's owned a V10 TDI Touareg, haven't you?
Yeah, it was a very early one. It was an 03 model. So it was very early.
Sorry, I'm just turning down my. It's very, very hot and sticky in here. Yeah, so you owned a V10. So what were they? A 310? That's right, 310.
Near enough, 313 to be exact. I do believe, but
yeah.
I run 2 ECUs on them as well.
Wow.
And when I got that remapped, it just totally transformed the car. To the point where it was really frightening to accelerate full throttle.
Yeah.
And even though with big tyres on it, still used to like try and spin up.
Yeah.
Just because of the torque figures.
Yeah. I think they had the bigger brakes on the front, didn't they? They had 6 pots.
6 pots.
Because my Q7 had the 6 pots on, and the KNs come with 6 pots as standard. But on these are big 4 pots in the front, big 4 pots in the rear, I think.
Yeah.
The V6 altitude. So yeah, but no, it's very nice, very comfortable. We can sit here and have a conversation. That rear back box delete as well, I think that's a really good modification as well, because it's not. It gives it a nice sound, a nice growl, but it's not offensive. It's not draw, does it? We're doing 60 mile an hour, well 50 mile an hour here, and we can have a conversation where sometimes it can be the other way around, where you take the back boxes out and it just drones like hell.
But also the weight was something like 53 kilos for the rear box alone.
53 kilos, so it's actually a weight saving technique as well. So I've owned 3 Touaregs before. I've owned 2.5 TDI, which is the R5 engine they call it, and I've also owned the 3D V6. Never owned a V10. Always wanted to own a V10. Just never got around to actually owning one. With the R5, obviously, technically the TDI is actually the 2.5 TDI is effectively 2 of those engines together, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're obviously milled together.
Gear driven as well.
Gear driven as well. Even the R5 was gear driven, wasn't it? The 2.5. Now, there's an issue with the R5s. Now, my first R5 was pretty much amazing. It was great on fuel. It was a manual, like I said. It did about 28 mpg, which I thought was actually really decent. But one thing that I felt it just lacked a little bit of power. I think it could have done with like an extra 20 horsepower and 20-30 foot-pounds of torque just to make it that little bit better, because it was just a little bit too low down. It just didn't seem to be enough run by this. I've owned a stock Q7 and I had it mapped, and I can tell you now, even the stock Q7 at 225 or whatever the torque figure is on these, they've got a massive amount of torque in them.
Yeah.
One thing with this car as well, it doesn't have the air suspension, which I find is a better option, because the air suspension on these are very, very expensive to replace. It's not the case of like L322 or P38, where a set of bags is going to cost you £280. I think it's around about £280 a corner for the air suspension, and you have to buy the entire strut. You can't just buy half the bag. You have to buy the entire strut. That's where the cost effectiveness of buying one without air suspension is actually better. The sun is blaring it here. Definitely have to do some editing there.
So luckily where we live, it's not really long to get to the countryside. Good 5 minute drive.
I'm going to turn the camera off. It's upside down, but I can turn it around. I'm not. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was a disability scooter at first, to be fair.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was a lawnmower.
What you doing on
So yeah, like I said, it is actually a nice place around. We sort of forget because we live here. We live in Durham, and like I said, we've got some very, very pretty countryside, especially at Beamish, where lots of nice roads at Beamish, isn't it?
Yep.
The Touareg though is quite wide, isn't it?
It is. It's.
I always felt the Touareg felt wider than my L322 for some reason. I don't know if it's just the way it looks, because interior space wise it looks very sort of the same amount of space, but yeah.
Yeah.
Any future plans with this one then, or are you just going to keep it the way it is? Keith, like me, doesn't keep his cars very long.
Like everyone else, they've all got plans, but things change. But
Yeah.
no, really, just keep on top of it.
Yeah.
Little tiny bits of bodywork. We're approaching a summer now, so it's the best time to get it
best
done.
time to get it done, isn't it?
And if I'm picky, get the wheels refurbished and get slightly bigger tyres.
Yeah, that's one thing I always felt with all my Touaregs was that the tyres were just not big
Look out
enough.
of place.
They look out of place, don't they? Like I've said there, they look out of place, and yeah.
So currently at the moment there are 45 wall tyre.
Yeah, maybe
So
go
probably
50.
55 max.
Yeah, I'll maybe go 50 and go like a all-terrain look. That's what I mean. That's what I would do. I would like to, if I bought another one of these, I think I'd like to do like a bit of an Overlander. Darkside Developments are doing some amazing stuff with their Overlander division at the moment, and they are doing a lot of the KNs, which is obviously the same platform, the Mark II KNs as well.
And the V10 tuned.
Yeah, they've got their V10 demo car there, so yeah, that's again a really good example of what you can do with these cars. And they are pretty epic off-road. I mean, this has got diff lock.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's got diff lock. So this is for the rear diff, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, rear diff lock, high and low ratio transfer box. So yeah.
Really quick to 50.
That was really quick to 50. That was very, very quick to 50. Something that weighs 2 and a bit tons, and yeah, very, very quick to 50. That.
At one point, I was thinking high mileage cars. I was pretty much trying to stay away from them.
Yeah, I'm the opposite now. I always used to think low mileage cars were the better cars.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm all for high mileage cars. I mean, I remember her Audi, which I've just sold, had 210,000 miles on it,
right.
and it was still going strong. I serviced it twice a year. I mean, this, like you said, it's got 200,000 miles. My L322's 178,000.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm very much the same now. I think sometimes the higher mileage cars are the better ones, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the previous owners to this Touareg that has spent a fair bit of money on it, and
yes, he did.
And it reflects that as well, the way it drives.
He did.
You know. I mean, I do believe he'd even changed the gearbox, transfer box.
Yeah, he replaced quite a lot. I think it was springs, full service, diff service, front prop shaft, transfer box, gearbox. I think he actually bought it, and I had a transfer box issue, so we ended up changing gearbox and transfer box with a good low mileage unit, but then did a full service fluids throughout. So yeah, that's, I mean, again, with the bigger 4x4s, they do cost more when they break, but I think as long as you keep on top of the maintenance, then you shouldn't really have an issue. And I think a lot of people have that bravado where they don't understand that the big 4x4s require that little bit more maintenance or maybe a stricter regime of you know, upkeep and of maintenance, and they think that because they're big and they're brash, they're invincible, so they require actually less maintenance, which is sadly the opposite, isn't it?
Yep.
Right guys, well, into the video. I just want to say a massive thank you for everybody who's liking and sharing and subscribing. We've got some cracking videos coming up soon. As you can see, I'm sort of diversifying a little bit out of the Land Rovers, even though everybody seems to love the Land Rover stuff. I've got a couple of other quick Land Rover videos coming up, and I've got some more JDM legends coming in. We've got an Evo 2 RS that we'll be doing. That's a very, very special car. That is a very low number car as well. And we shall see you later, folks. Alright, cheers now.